5 Questions with Me, EP. Hey everyone, it's Elizabeth. I'm here with Woolsey Morcom's own Nick Morcom, and I'm going to ask him 5 questions. Are you ready, Nick?
Yes, I'm going to be.
All right. Number 1. What's one piece of advice you would give to someone considering a career in law?
There's something I always tell young people that ask me, like, do you like the law and stuff like that, or what do you think about it? And it's a funny line, but I think it's true, and that's the law is a jealous mistress. And it's a line I've read before and everything's been never applied to the law. It's kind of put it both together. But the idea is that it wants your time. There are probably some types of specialties in the law where you can work close to a 9-to-5 type job. But the reality is, I think that the truly great legal practitioners you meet have just poured an obsessive amount of grinding effort into becoming excellent at what they do. And it's just something to know. Not every profession requires what the law requires out of you. And it's just something I think you should go into it with eyes wide open.
That's very good advice, and something that I think a lot of attorneys starting out need to hear. You need to know that you have to put time into it to get good at it.
Sure. And if you don't, that's fine. The law will punish you for it.
Yeah, that's true too. Number 2. What is a piece of advice you received early in your career that you still value today?
Everything will work out. My first job, to give just short background, was a criminal defense attorney, a private criminal defense attorney in Austin, Texas. And, I'm there working in an office. The lead lawyer, the lawyer who owned the law firm, Joe Turner, is a great trial lawyer, the kind of guy that gets paid to do homicides regularly. And he had a senior associate who'd been a lawyer about 6 or 7 years. He was office right next to me. And so I'm getting close to my first motion to suppress in a DUI case. And I am just sweating a load, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm convinced I'm going to screw it up. I'm not going to do good enough. And he just knows I'm just incredibly nervous. And he came into my office and he said, Nick, just let me tell you something. I've been doing this 6 or 7 years. I've been there. I've been convinced it's all going to be a massive, like Titanic level failure. It's all going to work out. And the funny thing is now I'm going into, I think, my 21st year of practice. Actually more, 22nd. It all does work out. Obviously you have to try your very, very best. But if you do, the chips normally fall and it's just fine.
That's awesome. Shout out to Joe Turner.
Yeah, Joe Turner's a great trial lawyer. I think he's still practicing in Austin.
Number 3. What's a cause or organization that you are passionate about supporting?
Yeah, this one, I'm sound like a do-gooder. It's called Smile Train. I'm not on the board or anything. I just give to it. But I would say very strongly people should consider giving to it. If you've never heard of it, it does cleft surgeries for poor kids in kind of smaller, poorer countries, international kids. It costs $400 to do a cleft surgery from beginning to end. And if you don't know what that is, what's that actor named Joaquin Phoenix? He was born with a cleft lip. What that means is you're born, and it's a gene, and you have a hole in your lip from here to here, and it goes all the way up to your nostril. And it's fairly horrific to look at, and it affects your breathing, your ability to eat. And these little kids, and when they do the surgeries, they get them young, and you see the before and after, and it's stark. I mean, these little kids can't go to school. They basically have to stay at home with their parents. They're going to live their whole lives just almost a wreck because they're like that. They're ostracized. And then you see the after, and you can barely see the line. They're back in school. They're going to school now. They have friends. They're playing sports. And it's just, you have the ability with that charity. And there's a lot of good charities. I know some people are into dogs and some people are into like other kinds of things. And don't get me wrong, the food pantry is a good thing to give to, homeless shelters are a good thing to give to, but name me something where you could pay $400 and you personally can just pay $400 and you permanently change a child's life. It will never be the same. There will be before you gave $400 and there'll be after. A horror and like a normal life. And I don't think there's that many things. It's something that's almost like a miracle when you watch the differences. It's like something out of the Bible, and you have that power. You have that power. And so I encourage anyone who is, like myself, spending money on nonsense to consider whether or not they could afford to give $400 a year and save a kid. So that's my answer.
We will put a link to Smile Train in the comment section. So that's a really great organization. Thank you for sharing that. Number 4. What is a motto or personal philosophy that you live by?
You should know this since your office near me. I've got a poster on my wall, and it's from World War II. And it's Winston Churchill kind of pointing at you, and it says, "Deserve victory." It's a propaganda poster. But I think it speaks a lot to kind of like both how to live your life, but especially how you can practice the law. Here's the idea that you should try as hard as you can. You should be as professional and as ethical as you can. And honestly, try to be morally upright in how you practice the law. Be honest. You can take positions that you believe truly in your heart are objectively reasonable. And if you do these things, you, quote, deserve victory. Now, you're not always going to win, but by gosh, you can control whether or not you deserve to win.
Yeah, I'd like to issue a public apology to Winston Churchill for the googly eyes that have shown up on his eyes occasionally.
Yeah, but people like to play pranks on me in the office. I can't imagine why. But
Last one. What's something small that always brightens your day?
joking around. I like to joke around with people that work in my office, my coworkers, staff, joking around with my family. I think humor and laughter, right, in just about any situation. You can't help it. I think it's like a chemical thing, but maybe deeper than that. When you smile, like chemicals are released, endorphins and stuff, that it just makes the situation, no matter what it is, just a little bit better.
That's a good one. I think something that is very unique about our office is that we work very hard, but everyone has fun.
Yeah, I think that's what it's not supposed to be a salt mine. You know what I mean? And the honest truth is, so much of what we do in the law, there is something funny about it. Like there is a humor there. Sometimes it's a dark humor, but there's often something that's funny about it, or opposing counsel's kind of pomposity, or just how goofy they're acting, or, you know, joking around about ourselves. I mean, obviously you should have just humor about yourself when you make a mistake and things like that. But that's probably the small pleasure that I try to do, is I try to joke around some each day.
Well, Nick, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure having you here.
I think you have to say that. I'm teasing.
I kind of do, but until next time.
Bye.
5 Questions with Me, EP.